I thought things could get better in schools. Ladies and gentlemen, education as we know it is broken. Today I'm going to be talking to you about 3 issues with schools and education around the world. Firstly, how this current system of education is woefully outdated. Secondly, about how schools kill innovation. And thirdly, about how education is increasingly becoming the enemy of knowledge. But before I delve into these 3 issues, let's talk about the ultimate goal of education. What should schools strive to instill within graduates after 12 or 13 years of their lives? Should it be about preparing them for a job, teaching them vocationally? Or should it be about empowering thinkers, ensuring that students have the creative and innovative ability? Should it be about creating students that are ready to fight in the world of tomorrow? By the end of my speech, it will be incredibly clear that yes, that is what we should be doing. Okay, so the first issue with education, the fact that it is woefully outdated. Now, what do I mean by this? Ladies and gentlemen, education systems as we know it are modeled upon a time long gone. They are A, modeled upon an intellectual age of enlightenment, and B, an economic age of industrialization. Sadly, I speak of 200 years ago, not today, and certainly not 30 years or 40 years in the future. Now, why is this an issue? Well, back in the days that education was modeled, there was an overriding principle of standardization, the idea of conformity, that students should be educated and classed according to age, under the fallacious assumption that intellectual maturity and the ability to grasp issues is achieved with age. I know a lot of old people, the previous speaker spoke about George Bush. I think a lot of kids could do a much better job than he did. Ladies and gentlemen, now why is this an issue? Why is it a problem that students are being taught to the world of a long time ago? Well, the system of conformity doesn't allow students to think independently and think creatively. They are taught uniform solutions to uniform problems. The issue with that is the world doesn't present uniform problems and certainly doesn't appreciate uniform solutions. Schools, education, and teaching should be more dynamic. It should be more about creating students that have the ability to grasp different issues and come up with independent thoughts and ideas that will help solve these issues, and that will essentially allow them to do whatever they wish to do. Now, that brings me on to my second idea about innovation. Now, the overriding principle is that when a society is able to innovate, when people are able to think forward, there will be economic, social, and overall intellectual progress. Now, how are schools at the moment killing that? How are they quashing students' ability to innovate, to think outside of the box? Primarily due to the growth of standardized testing, like the SATs and the ACTs. Why? This is because standardized testing, the concept of standardized testing, appreciates only one answer to any problem. It doesn't allow for students to come up with new or innovative solutions to age-old questions. Students are taught that the mark scheme is all-knowing and any deviation from it is wrong. That is a problem, ladies and gentlemen, and it needs to be rectified. How? How can we actually make testing more effective? How can we make testing grasp the complexities and beauty of human intelligence, not the mark scheme? Well, firstly, teachers, as opposed to mark schemes and exams board, could be trusted with the ability of gauging intelligence and grading intelligence. It could be a more progressive concept. It could be more continuous over the course of a 2-year course, not over a 20-minute multiple choice test or a 5-hour coursework sitting. Okay, that brings me up to my third issue with education. How is education the enemy of learning itself? Now, education systems in schools at the moment teach graduates and teach students to know, not to learn. Where is the dichotomy between knowing and learning? That dichotomy lies in one word alone, and that word is understanding. Students are not taught to understand what they pick up from their 500-word textbooks that they sit 6 hours a week with. They're not taught to analyze the reasons for the knowledge, to analyze the relevance to them, and to contextualize what they've been given by their teachers and by the systems that they learn through. Now, how is this making it the enemy of learning? It all comes back to standardized testing again. Another issue with standardized testing, ladies and gentlemen, is that teachers start teaching towards the test. They don't teach to educate, they don't teach to inspire, and they certainly don't teach to empower. They teach so that students go into the exam hall and come out with the highest score possible. Now, I appreciate the benefits of doing so, and I certainly believe the teachers who are able to do that are good teachers. But the best teachers, the best educators are the ones who are able to allow their students to think outside of the box, to criticize what they know, to progress as individuals and as intellectuals in a modern, stagnant society that appreciates only conformity. Ladies and gentlemen, I started my speech with a seemingly outlandish statement saying that education is broken. I think now it's incredibly clear to you that there are things to be done. We can revolutionize testing. We can make learning more dynamic in the classroom. And we can make sure that schools appreciate diversity instead of quashing it and alienating students who think differently. So, education is broken. I say it's about time we think about fixing it. Thank you.